Breaking news, Vasily Lomachenko declines the Gervonta Davis fight. We thought that was the fight to be made, that it was going to go down in December or November, most likely November, but that is no longer the case, ladies and gentlemen. No longer the case. I'm a little bit bummed because you guys know me. You guys know where I stand on Gervonta's next fight. I said that Lomachenko is the fight I want to see. As much and as important it is that we see Shakur Stevenson in there with Gervonta Davis, I just thought that, you know, Lomachenko and Shakur isn't as exciting as Lomachenko and Tank. I like Lomachenko and Tank way more than Tank and Shakur. That's just my personal opinion, but let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Shakur, you know, and Tank potentially being the next fight for both guys. I like it, but I don't love it. I love the Lomachenko fight because I thought it would have been a good passing of the torch moment for Tank. Obviously, people like to say stuff about Lomachenko's too old, and, you know, Lomachenko and Tank should have fought 2-3 years ago. But like I always say, boxing, in these scenarios where there's a uprising superstar, and Tank's already at that superstar moment, but he hasn't really had that passing of the torch fight, and Lomachenko would have been that fight. And people were always gonna get ready to discredit Tank and say that he was too old, that this fight should have been happening a long time ago, and that Tank was running from Lomachenko, this, that, and the third. But now knowing that Lomachenko isn't interested in that fight, at least not yet. Lomachenko said that he wants to see Shakur Stevenson and Tank fight, and then he would fight the winner in 2025. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. I think that I still like the Shakur Stevenson and Tank fight, but I think Tank probably wins it just based off, you know, their recent performances. Tank is continuing to get better and better, and I see Shakur Stevenson, you know, stellar performance, you know, when it comes to boxing, but it wasn't stellar like Tank. Tank puts on performances that leave people shocked, leave people satisfied with how they spend their money. And then you saw Shakur Stevenson fighting in Newark, and people were leaving, you know, his fight early because they weren't happy. They were bored. They didn't want to see it go to a decision. And the truth is that, you know, if you're in your own city and you're not selling out the arena, that's kind of a problem at this point in Shakur's life, in his career. I think that he should be selling out Newark, the Prudential Center, and people just weren't happy with the performance. So you saw in the 11th round, people were already walking out of the arena, getting into their cars and trying to beat traffic. So, like, it does suck to see that for Shakur Stevenson, because you guys know I'm a big fan of Shakur. I always say that he's one of the very few fighters that I think could really realistically pull off a win against Tank and do it in such a way that's convincing. I'm not saying it's going to be an entertaining fight. I never really thought that, you know, if Shakur were to beat Tank, I don't think it would be an exciting fight. I think it would be more so Shakur frustrating Tank and tying him up every time, you know, Tank even gets close to landing a big shot. Shakur moves around a lot and tries to look for that clinching. And I'm not saying that's him being afraid of Tank. I just think that it's being smart as well. I think Shakur is so fundamental, and he's so in tune with that mentality where it's hit and not get hit, and make sure you don't take any punishment. That's a big thing for Shakur Stevenson. But in his last fight against Artem Harnatunian, I just didn't see anything that implied that he's got that ability to flip the switch. You know, Shakur never showed that. It seemed like he was just in one gear the whole night, and even when he tried to stop Artem, he just exposed himself and got hit. You know, the cleanest he ever got hit in that fight. So that just showed me, you know, he shouldn't exchange with any big puncher, let alone a guy like Gervonta Davis. I said it in another video, but I really do think that Shakur Stevenson would be better off fighting a guy like Devin Haney in his next fight. I don't like the fight with Tank right away, honestly. After seeing that performance, I don't see the power. There has to be at least a level of power to get Tank's respect, and I'm not even sure Shakur hits harder than Frank Martin. I would have to really see them in the ring and fight. You know, I wouldn't be mad at seeing Frank Martin and Shakur fight, because that would kind of measure how ready Shakur really is. And I know he's ready. I'm not trying to say that he's definitely not ready. I'm just concerned about the power. I'm concerned about the fact that he said that he was going to stop Artem in the second or third round, and then still had the whole rest of the fight to do it. Had 9-10 rounds to do it, and he wasn't able to do it. And I'm also concerned about what I'm seeing in the corner. I'm seeing him and his grandfather. Shakur doesn't seem to be showing coachability. He's not showing that he can listen to a coach. He's always arguing with his grandfather, saying, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to stop him. He's just doing this, he's just trying to survive. You're not trying to, you shouldn't be trying to convince your corner of anything. That's the first thing. You shouldn't be trying to prove your corner wrong in the middle of a fight. And it just showed me that he's not willing to make adjustments. It's almost like he has a certain level of pride that he doesn't want to listen to what his grandfather is having to say. The grandfather was literally telling him, we don't know what's going to be on these scorecards, so I want you to do this, I want you to do that, put your combinations together. We don't know what these judges are seeing in this fight. We don't know what these judges are putting on their scorecards. And Shakur just wasn't listening. He was just so focused and intent on, you know, what Artem was doing, which you're supposed to be, but also listen to your coach. Listen to the instructions that they're trying to give you. It just showed a lack of being coachable. You know, you got to be coachable in this game. Even if you don't believe it, say, okay, and then try to make the adjustments in the ring. At least make an attempt. He didn't do that. He said, I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's a little bit concerning for me. If you're a person that believes Shakur Stevenson beats Tank, you got to be able to listen to your corner and adapt. You look at a guy like Tank, even though, you know, he's got a million things rushing through his mind, he's doing well, he's making a lot of progress, but when he sits on that stool, he's quiet and he's listening to Coach Kenny, he's listening to Calvin Ford, he's listening to his corner. I don't see that from Shakur Stevenson. I see a lot of pushback when his team's doing nothing but trying to help you. You can't be saying stuff like, no, I'm going to stop him, I'm going to stop him, I'm going to do this. He's just trying to survive. Why are you trying to convince your trainer? You're not supposed to be trying to convince them that you're going to do this. They believe you. They're the ones supporting you. Go out and do it. Stop talking about it and go out and do it. We know you got the ability. Why are you trying to convince your trainer, your team, that you're going to go stop him? Go out and stop the fighter yourself. Too much talk. Too much talk. Go out there and do it. We're seeing too much talk. And he continued to blame Artem for not being, you know, the exciting fighter, for not pressing the action. Like, he was right there. He was right there for Shakur. It's not like Artem was running away from Shakur, and I'm not gonna say Shakur was running either. Neither of them were running, but you can't blame your opponent for your own performance. And he didn't have a bad performance, but obviously the fans weren't entertained, and that's part of boxing. You got to entertain the fans in some aspect. And the fans, obviously, if you're in your hometown and people are walking outside out of the stands, they're leaving the arena before the fight's even over, what does that tell you? You're not entertaining the people. So if you're complaining about, you know, forget the fans, this and that, look at your own hometown. They walked out of your fight just like that. What does that tell you? That tells you that you've got to be able to turn a switch, flip a switch, and turn into a different beast. Show us something that we've never seen before. You got to be an offensive fighter, be someone exciting. Shakur just doesn't do that. He says he's going to do this in the fight. He says he's going to do this. He said, did you do your sit-ups to Artem? He didn't do anything. He didn't hurt him to the body. He never put him down, let alone, you know, this guy's not Tank. This guy's not half of the fighter that Tank is, and you're saying that you're going to do this, that, and the third to Tank. Tank's a different animal, and I just don't want Shakur to find that out the hard way. That's why I'm saying, after this fight, I'm saying, as much as I like Shakur, as much as I think he can do it, take another fight. Take another fight before Tank. I don't like the fight with Tank immediately, even though Tank's in a spot where he needs a big name, and he needs a big name badly. Maybe he could fight Zepeda, but I don't know how realistic that is. But I don't like the fight for Shakur just yet. After that performance, he still has to work on a lot of stuff, in my opinion. The offense, I'm not going to say it's predictable, but it's also not anything that fighters have to be concerned about. You know, Tank's not looking at that fight with Shakur and Artem and saying, dang, I really got to worry about this kid's power. No, he doesn't. You know, at least Ryan Garcia posed that threat where, yeah, he might not be the most fundamentally sound boxer, but Ryan Garcia, he's dangerous. You know, Tank was more nervous against Ryan Garcia than he was against Frank Martin, and I think that's just facts, because he knew Frank Martin didn't have nearly as much power as Ryan Garcia did, and Tank is a fighter that respects power over the boxing ability. A lot of boxers can box well, but, you know, do you have that thumb? Can you crack an egg? You know, I'm not sure Shakur can hurt Tank. I think if he beats Tank, it's only gonna be in a decision, in a boring decision. I just don't think that Shakur Stevenson is ready just yet. I think give him a few more fights at 35 where he's fighting big punches, and then see how he does, because if not, you throw him straight in there with Tank, I'm not sure how well he does, to be honest. I think, you know, it's still a close fight. Is it possible Shakur wins that fight? Yeah, of course. But I don't favor it. I favor Tank against Shakur heavily, you know, because of the power, because of that willingness to listen to coaches and make adjustments and set traps. The IQ of Tank is so underrated. The changes that he makes during a fight are much more noticeable than what Shakur does. Shakur just does whatever he wants to do. He didn't even listen to his trainers when they're saying, put your combinations together, this and that. And he's saying, and he was responding saying, you know, I'm going to stop him, I'm going to do this. Didn't happen. You got to stop talking and do it in the ring. That's what the fans want to see. That's what people in Newark wanted to see. If you did that, then they wouldn't have left so early, you know, before the fight was over. And that's just facts. But let me know in the comments, am I being a hater against Shakur Stevenson? I really have high hopes for Shakur, and I think that he could be one of those guys to potentially beat Tank, but it's got to, you know, come with something, come with some fire. It's got to come with something new. We can't just be seeing the same repetitive thing over and over again, because honestly, Tank's gonna read it. Tank might be able to telegraph all that. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. That's going to do it for another Nads Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.